How are we doing, lads? Just me back with another video for you. We're all in a bit of a lockdown situation at the moment since the last time the video went out, so we're a bit more restricted to what we can do, and you know, we have to stay home. Really is the important message. Although the good news is we are still allowed out to do a little bit of exercise on our own, and have to stress on our own. It's not out kicking around a football with a load of your mates, alright? So it is on our own, and we can go within 2 kilometers. So for most of us, there might be a park or something nearby that we can use, okay? Anyway, with these videos, you don't need space, alright? That's the whole point of them, but they can be done at home. They can be done in your bedroom, they can be done in your garden, they can be done anywhere, okay? So anyway, the first video, we looked and we were talking about cardiovascular fitness. So that was working on our heart and on our lungs, okay, and its ability to get the body moving, its ability to get blood around the body and so on, okay? So it was kind of based on high intensity cardiovascular work, all right? So that was where you had to work hard for a round or whatever amount of time, and then you have time off and you work hard again, okay? So that's one type of cardio. There is another type which is just kind of the slow circular type, all right? So going for a slow jog, okay? Around, you know, whatever, half an hour or whatever, or 40 minutes, okay? So that's another type of cardiovascular fitness, and actually both of them are important. They both work different areas of the heart, okay? So one is making the heart stronger, that high intensity stuff is making the heart stronger, and the lower intensity stuff, okay, is making the heart bigger essentially, so it can take in more blood, okay? So the two of those combined are really important for your heart and lung fitness, okay? So if you can, get yourselves out for a nice jog there. You can go within 2 kilometers, so pick a route, okay, or even just jog to somewhere 2 kilometers and come back again. But it's important to say you do that on your own, okay? So you'd have that, you'd have the high intensity cardio one day, you'd have the other type of cardio the next day. All right, now today, this video is about strength, okay? Now strength is different. Yeah, of course it's going to work your heart and lungs because you're doing a bit of exercise, but it's not the focus, and it won't be, you won't feel it's the focus. You won't feel the same as you did the last day, where you're out of breath and all, okay? It's a different focus, okay? So working on strength. Now, strength work, I suppose, is going to do 2 things, all right? So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to build muscles, okay? So it's called hypertrophy, all right? So it's going to build muscles, all right? And essentially how it's going to work is by working a muscle. Let's just use the biceps because it's an easy example. By working that arm, okay, what you're essentially doing is breaking down the muscle fibers, or stretching, and as they stretch, they're making little tears and so on in the muscle, all right? So if you take a look at this, so you say the blue bit here is the arm, okay, and we have the muscle attached on there now. That's why, and this is also one of the reasons I'm not an art teacher, all right? But you can see now, if we exercise on that muscle, or we work that muscle, okay, maybe with a little weight, let's say there's a little dumbbell or something in there, okay, and we're lifting that arm up and down, what's going to happen is you're going to have lots of little tears are going to come along here through this muscle, okay, little tiny ones that you can only see under a microscope, all right? Then your blood is going to take any protein that you've eaten, okay, is going to get into your bloodstream, and it's going to get into essentially these muscles, and it's going to fill the gap, for want of a better word here, okay, and it's going to essentially make more muscle, and that's going to make your muscle get bigger and bigger. And every time you exercise, there's more little tears, more protein, more new muscle being built. So that's how our muscles grow. That's how they get bigger, okay? So that's the first thing that strength training does, all right? It's not the only thing, all right? So there is other ways that it's going to work, all right? So if we take the same diagram again, and then the second way that it works, okay, is our central nervous system, all right? So you think for every movement our body does, the brain has to send a signal, okay, down through the spine, then out through all the nervous system and into the muscles, all right? And it's got to learn a pattern for every movement. So you imagine, like in a squat, how many different patterns, how many muscles it has to switch on, and then other ones, when it's switching some on, it has to switch others off in order for us to be able to do these movements, okay? So strength training trains those movements, okay? So if you think there's our muscle, here's our brain over here, here's a spinal cord, and you've got your motor. It looks like a dude tickling somebody, but it's not that, all right? So this is the brain, spinal cord, and then we've got our nerve endings attached to the muscles here, all right? So every time it wants to, let's say, bend this arm, okay, I forgot to draw in a little part here. There should be another little muscle, okay, over on this side, okay, and now that's all floppy because it's relaxed, all right? So every time it wants to lift that arm, okay, it's got to relax this muscle on one side, okay, and it's got to tense up the muscle on this side, and that's what lifts our arm, okay. And it's the same with every movement that you do in the body and every bone movement, okay. It's got to relax some and it's got to tense others, all right. So by strength training, we're training the body to be able to do that. So if I had no weight in my arm and I went to lift it up, let's say, my brain knows the pattern, it knows what it has to do, okay, it lifts this. As soon as I put a weight in that arm or pressure in that arm, okay, and lift it, now it's different. Now, why is that arm not coming up as fast? Oh, there's a weight in it. Now I've got to shock this muscle even harder, and I've got to do it faster, okay, in order for it to get that weight up, okay, and put it back down, all right. Now the thing about strength is, if you haven't trained that or practiced it, your brain doesn't know what's going on, so you might not get the weight up and it falls down. But the more you practice it, the more your brain learns the pattern and learns how to shock that muscle efficiently, and it can get it up. So that's how one of the ways that we get stronger, besides building just pure muscles, all right. So there are the two ways that strength training works. So why do we want strength training? It's really important. Right? Cardiovascular fitness is really important in terms of health, all right. Strength training is really important in terms of injury, especially if you're playing sports, all right? So you think of all the movements, all the muscles that switch on, switch off, and your brain's got to learn those patterns, and it's got to have musclers there, okay, to make you strong, all right, for those sports. But even if you're not playing sports, you know, how many times do you know an aunt or an uncle or a father or a sister or whatever who goes to pick up something and they hurt their back, okay? Because if they haven't been strength training, right, the brain is not used to that particular movement that we just demonstrated a second ago, whatever the movement is, okay, and then therefore it can take the wrong pattern to try and lift it and end up pulling a muscle or whatever it is in the back, okay. So strength training is really important for everybody, even if you're not an athlete, and plus it's fun, okay, to be able to do, all right. So there's a little bit of the science behind strength training and cardiovascular training. Today's video is focusing on strength training, okay. I know it's hard to see me now because of the angle of the sun in the video, but I'll just change that now in a second, all right. So that's just some of the science, the reason behind we're doing it. So I'm going to show you now what you need to do some strength training, some exercises that we can do at home, okay. Okay, so one of the most important things about strength training, I suppose, is that you don't just do random stuff, all right. If you're doing something, you have to make sure that it's balanced, all right. So a good way of thinking of how to balance your program would be if you just take your body as standing straight up. Okay, I'm kneeling here obviously, but standing straight up, this is the position that your body is in, okay. So we have a few different movements that we've got to work, all right. So the first movement is overhead. So it's a push of anything overhead, right? So if you're lifting anything overhead, whether it's a weight over your head, it's a dumbbell, it's if you have two bands and you're trying to stretch the bands over your head or whatever it is, anything overhead, okay? Or even lifting the arms up here like this as well, still consider that up overhead, okay? And that movement is working all the shoulder muscles, okay, and around here and the tops of the chest and so on. Go off and Google your shoulder muscles that you'll work, and there's a few different types of shoulder muscle there, and you can Google them and learn them off, okay. And we might even make that a task after watching this video, okay. There's no point in me telling you, go Google, you learn better, okay. Go and search for yourself too, okay. So up overhead, then we have a push. Let's say it's a push overhead. The opposite to that is a pull, okay. So we're pulling down, all right. So push and then a pull down, okay. That's working the opposite muscles, okay. So that's going to work in around our lats and our back here, okay. And that's going to have to work hard to pull that movement down, okay. So a chin up is an example of that, okay. If when you're in the gym and you see the cable machines where you pull them down, there's another example, okay. You could have some bands at home or whatever, and you tie them, okay, you gotta tie them over a doorway, okay. So you're like this, again, you can pull back towards it. So that's another way of working the opposite there, okay. Then we have a push in this direction, okay. So sink, body again, standing straight, pushing away from your chest, okay. That's a push, a horizontal push, all right. So a press up will be an example. A bench press, again, if you're pulling something out from the side but it's pushing or out away from the body, okay, that's one. The opposite to that then, okay, is a pull, or we call it a row, okay. So a row back towards the body, so catching something in front of you and pulling it back. It doesn't matter whether it's at one arm, okay, whether it's coming back this way, so it's grabbing something in front and pulling it back, okay. That's a row. So there's four movements: push that way, pull down, push in front, pull back. Okay, so that's essentially, that's the upper body well balanced. All right. Then we've got our core obviously around here. Okay, so core, really the function of that core is to stay steady. That's the function of it. It's not to be up and down and moving, and it's literally to hold that body still. Okay, so when our arms are working, our legs are working, okay, that it's getting the full power. As the more solid we can keep that. Right, now of course there is rotational stuff as well, but again, that's that's a power thing. All right. Then we got our legs. Okay, so we have a couple of different leg movements. Okay, so obviously one is up and down. Okay, so it's our squat. Okay, so the function here is that the hips drop. Okay, so they're dropping towards the ground. Okay, that's a squat pattern. Okay, and the opposite, and that works. Okay, works a lot of the muscles in the front of the leg, and of course in the back and the glutes. All right, but predominantly a lot of it works the frontal area here. Okay, then we've got the opposite to that, so that's an up and down movement. Okay, squat. The opposite then, okay, is a hinge movement where the hips are going back and forward. Okay, so it's in this direction. All right, so it's more horizontal than vertical, back and forward. Okay. All right, and they're really essential. Of course, you have a lunge there, but again, that's very similar. The lunge is very similar to a squat movement. Okay, so there's the movements. So you really only got about 6 different ones, and it's important that you do them all. Okay, because if you're working one, you want to work the opposite. Okay, so once you work a muscle, you want to work the opposite muscle. So the opposite of the chest is the back. Okay, the opposite of the shoulders, the lats. The opposite to the glutes and the hamstrings is the quads. Okay, so we want to work the opposite. So if you can get those 6 movements in, all right, that's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to try and show you a program now, a very simple one that you can do at home that works those movements and the opposite, so you get a well balanced, good strength program. All right. Okay, so I changed the angle of this so it's a bit better now. So we're at home. How do we train our muscles? How do we do strength training? Well, there's a couple of things that I've found that's really good is, and you all have one at home, is your school bag. All right. So school bag is good because it is weight. You can determine the weight, so you can load literally all your school books in there, and we know how heavy they are these days, to make a good heavy weight for some of the bigger exercises like the squats, and we're using a lot of our muscles. Okay, and then if you need to lighten it, you can take out some of your books. Okay, and the bag becomes lighter. So a school bag is a really, really good tool. Okay, another thing that is really good if you have them at home for home workouts, okay, is bands. All right, so you can pick them up in various shops for quite cheap. They're just big rubber bands. All right, if you don't have bands at home, you might have an old bicycle tube that you can cut in half and you can pull, or a pair of tights. We're in all boys school, so maybe you do have tights, or if you can go to your mum and get her tights, or sister or whatever. Don't pick a new pair because you'll drive them mad. Okay, just get an old pair, and they're quite stretchy. Okay, and they're in a big length like this if you hold them from leg to leg. Okay, so they can be used for doing various exercises as well. Okay, so that's really the only equipment that we're going to need for this video. All right, and I'm going to show you a few exercises now that you can do. I'm going to do it in rounds, all right, because we could prescribe sets and rest, but I'm going to do it in rounds, all right, because rounds are just easier to follow. Okay, so it'll be a certain length of time doing the exercise, a certain amount of time off. It's just easier to follow for a video, easier for you to remember, and some people will do more reps than others in the given time, so it kind of differentiates between each of you yourselves if we do it that way. Okay, so the video is going to start in a minute, so we're going to start with a quick warm up again. Okay, and then we'll go straight into it. All right. Okay, so for the warm up, you can use the same warm up that you used for the last video, which is just your few squats, your press ups, your hip thrusters. Okay, perfectly fine for this as well. So you can go back and watch that, and it's perfectly fine for that. Or we can try kind of a fun thing. It's quite, especially if you're doing it with a brother or sister, or mother or father, it's quite fun to try and watch the others trying to do this. So and again, it works a lot of the muscles that we're going to be using in the session anyway. Okay, so it's very simple. You've got to get up off the floor, so you're on your belly. You've got to get up off the floor as quick as you can. Okay, from your belly, then you've got to get up from your one side as quick as you can. Okay, other side, up again as quick as you can. Okay, and then the last one is from your back. Okay, getting up again as quick as you can, all right? The next one we're going to do now is our hand behind our back. Okay, so either your left or your right, it doesn't matter, behind your back, exactly the same thing. All right, so hand, we can't use this hand, it's behind our back. Up we get. Okay, on our side. Keep it at one arm behind your back. Other side. This is a difficult one. And up. And up. That's it. Okay, and the last one then. On our back. Good. Up we get again. Okay. Who's going to go two hands on the head? Alright, so now we've got two hands on our belly. Oh, how are we going to get up? Oh, I'm going to have to turn. Up. Up. And we got to use those legs to get up on our side. Whew. Up again. Heel the elbows. Up again. Other side. Down. Up again onto the elbows. Oh. Up I get. So you see we have that lunge pattern, the squat coming as we're trying to get up. Okay, from our back. Alright, up we get. Turn again. Any way you can without using those hands to get up off the ground. Alright? Next one. On the ground. Right leg or left leg in the air. Can't use it. Alright? One leg only. Can't use this, it has to stay in the air. So can't touch the ground. Alright? You ready? Let's go. Up off my back. There we go. And then we can stand down, alright? On our side, this leg up in the air. Remember, it can't be used, it can't be used. Up we get, good. Onto our back, already did that. Onto our belly, how are we going to get up? One leg, good. And then this one, this is difficult because it's on the bottom but it still can't be used. Alright, so we got to roll onto our belly, up. And up we get. Okay, that's quite a good warm up. That took 2 minutes 50 seconds, 3 minutes. Do it again, do it twice, 6 minutes, and we've used quite a lot of muscles there. Our body's warm, a little bit of breath going. Okay, and it's a good warm up. All right, so we'll go to the main part. Okay, so the main part we're going to work is we're going to do it for 40 seconds on and 40 seconds off. So you have a bit more rest than the last time. Okay, but you know, again, remember the focus here, okay, is to break down the muscle fibers and allow the brain to learn these patterns that we're going to be doing. All right, so it's not to get the heart rate flying up and down. Okay, we've already done a cardiovascular session or a cardiovascular workout, so we can do that the previous day or whatever. So the focus of this one is on strength training on our muscles and on our central nervous system. Okay, so for this one we got 40 seconds on, 40 seconds off. I'll be explaining what we're going to do in each one. Okay, so I'm going to start the clock. Okay, so in 40 seconds, okay, we're going to get our bag, okay, and we're going to start off from the top, okay, and work our way down. All right, so first exercise, okay, using the bag, lifting it overhead. All right, lifting overhead and so on. Okay, we're not there yet, don't worry, 20 seconds left. If you're finding that easy, grab the bag with one arm and up. Okay, I'm doing this from my knees, all right, and up and down. You could choose to put one knee in front, okay, and like this. And then obviously you're going to do one arm, and if you're doing one arm, switch over it halfway and do the other arm. Okay, so we're ready then. Okay, I'm going to do two just to show you. All right, so here we go, off we go. We've got 40 seconds. That's it, keep going, pick a nice rhythm and just stick to it. All right. For some of you, this may be a heavier bag. You could be like this, back down. You could have more rest in between each lift. That's okay too. All right. So everyone does it to their own level. This bag is quite light, just for a demo. So I'm going to go. All right. If it's really light, you can also go faster. Okay. Okay. Or you can go really slow. Okay, which will maximize the time on the video. All right. So that's our shoulders done. Okay. We're going to do the opposite to that now, which is a row version. Okay, so I'm going to use the bands, and I'm going to tie the bands on. Here I'm going to pull, you'll see in a second, so it's like the opposite of a chin up. Okay, another thing that you could do, I have 20 seconds left, another thing you could do is grab something, lie on your belly and grab something heavy on the floor and pull it towards you. Okay, back out again, pull it towards you. Okay, so again, you're working those lats. Alright, so we've got 6 seconds left. I'm just going to tie the bands around here, okay? And we're going to go from here. Okay, you ready? Go. That's it. Keep pulling towards. Keep that back nice and straight. So you're catching something from over your head and pulling it towards your body. Could be a pair of tights. Okay. If that's really easy, if you think it's not heavy enough, then do it with one arm. Again, same principle, just catching something over your head, pulling it towards your body. If you're doing one arm, again, switch it halfway, or just do two 40 seconds. Do your right arm first and then your left. Okay, so we've got 5 seconds, keep moving. That's it. Good. Excellent. Okay. And I use one arm there. So for this part of the video, I'm going to use the other arm. Okay, so for 40 seconds. Alright. So again, grabbing something in front, pulling it down. Alright. So we've already done our bag overhead, and now we're doing our pull down. Alright. So shoulders, lat, opposite movements. Okay, really good for balance in the program. Okay. So we've now got 10 seconds left. Alright. And I'm going to go again now, this time with my other arm. Alright, here we go. Don't forget, you could do the heavy weight on the ground. Actually, I'll show you that one. Okay, so if you've got something heavy on the ground, okay, opposite arm this time, pull it towards it. Again, that principle of grabbing something. Doesn't matter what it is. I've often done this with a gas canister. Right, so out, pull, up front, pull, out front, pull, front, pull. That's it, keep going. We're also getting our push in here as well, so we're doubling up on the push. Alright, well, 10 seconds to go. That's it. Go. Good. Of course, if you have a chin-up bar in your back garden or between your doorway, that's very good too. Alright. The next one, okay, so that's our push in this direction and our pull. Alright. Both sorted there in those exercises. So now we're going to go into a press up. Okay, again, let's differentiate. Some people, I know, especially in first year, people find it difficult to do a press up. Alright, so if you are, go down, drop to the knees, make sure it's straight line from hip, okay, or from knee really to shoulder. Alright, and down we come. And you can actually lie flat on the ground. See me better? Lie flat on the ground and just push yourself up. Okay, here we go. So in 3, 2, 1, that's it. Oh, yeah, good. Now, being honest, you'll be a very strong individual if you could do press-ups for 40 seconds. Alright, so I'm going to keep going. Alright, yeah. So if this is easy, up onto the toes, maybe the 3rd years, 4th years, 5th years, up onto the toes. Okay, if you still find it easy, slow down all the way, slowly, slowly, slowly. Push up, down, slowly, 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 slowly. Push up. Alright, slowly, 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 push up. Again, slowly, 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 push up. And we get the last one in, and there's our 40 seconds. Okay? So there we have the push in that direction. Okay? So the next exercise is a pull. So grabbing something in front, pulling it. So again, if you have the tights or the bands, you could kneel down. Okay, instead of grabbing it from overhead, you're grabbing it from front of the body, pull towards, and really pin those shoulders back. So imagine there's a pole run down the middle of your back. I'm going to wrap those shoulders around it, right? You can do it that way, okay? Or, as I'm going to do, using your school bag, little chair or bench, grab the bag, one arm, up and down we go. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, grabbing something from in front of the body, pulling it towards the body. Alright, not overhead, in front. Alright, keep going. You can do this 2 arms if you like, make the bag nice and heavy again. Make sure you think you're wrapping those shoulders around the pole running up the middle of your back. Alright, that's it. Again, notice how I'm sitting way back, okay? So I'm not bent over like this, way back. That's your time, by the way. Alright, so sitting way back, pulling up towards the chest and back down, okay? What's probably easier is this one if you're not used to that movement, okay? So, push overhead, pull down, push out in front, pull back towards the body, Okay. So now we'll go to the squat movement. Okay. So grabbing the bag, you can put it on your back. Okay. But probably a safer way is to just grab it tight onto the chest. All right. And all we're going to do is squat down and up. Okay. Remember, a little kink in the hips, the back you go and down. All right. Down. It's a good idea to keep your chin on the bag. Right, up and down. If you have a bench or a little chair, right, you're down till your bum touches, back up again. Down, don't sit on it, just leave your bum touch it. Chin on the bag, that helps keep your head nice and neutral so you're not up here and bending your back. Head nice and neutral, feet shoulder width apart. And just, again, drive up. Down slowly, tip, drive up. Down slowly, tip, drive up. Alright? Down slowly, that's time, drive up. Alright? So that's our squat movement. Okay? Now we're going to move to the hinge. Okay? We can do a deadlift using the bag. Okay, so again, ass back as far as it can go. And you run the bag down along the front of the legs. Keep the shoulders pinned back. Run the bag down along the front of the legs. As soon as it gets to the ankles, then hips forward. Alright? Ass back as far as you can. Make sure the bag is running along the legs. Tips the ankle. Ass forward. Okay? Let's try it. Okay. Here we go. Bag really along the thighs. Past the knees, down the shins. So my ass is going back all the time. I'm not like this. Alright? Keep the shoulders pinned back. That's it. Back we go. Okay? Keep going at that. That's a deadlift. The alternative to that, okay, bag between the legs and up we go, in. So you're literally pushing the bag into the air, not with your arms swinging, with your ass pushing forward. Bang, and the bag just pops up. Hips forward. That's it. Squeeze your ass cheeks when you got a pie. That's it. And there's your 40 seconds, okay? So, there's our hinge. Okay, there's two ways of doing that. There's a deadlift way, okay, which is making sure that bag runs down. Keep them shoulders pinned back like you're squaring up to someone all the time through the movement. Pin back, another way I've heard is 2 golf balls or 2 tennis balls underneath the armpits. Imagine if you move your arms out, they drop. Alright, so keep your arms tight. Alright, back we go, ass back, and then forward. So you can see the difference in those two. Down and up for the squat, back and forward for the hinge movement. Okay? So that's our basics there. We're just going to finish with a little core session. Alright, so all we're going to do is a little bit of planking. I know I'm aware time is running there, so a little bit of plank again with the school bag. For some of us, just hold the plank. Alright, even on our elbows. We've done these before in PE. Hold the plank or up on your arms and just hold it. Another variation, you can walk from side to side, okay, with the plank held. Okay, or grab a bag from one side, pull it to the other. Grab with the other arm, pull it across. Grab with the other arm, pull across. Grab other arm, pull across. Grab other arm, pull across. Okay? So that's the plank. The important thing when you're doing the plank is remember that it stays steady. Alright? So we're not here, we're not up in the air. Okay, it's the core holding that plank. That's why it's called a plank. Straight line from back of my head down to the back of my ankle or my heel. Alright? Straight line, and that's what you're holding. Okay? That's going to work the core. Do without anything in it for a while, and then as you get better, start doing the movement from side to side. Okay? So that's helping us keep this. Now another one, I'll show you. Get the bag. Alright? Now we're doing is trying to keep this core nice and steady. Swing the bag. So what you don't want to do is go around with the bag. Alright? So keep the core nice and steady. Arms can move, but I want you to keep the core as steady as you can. And basically swing the bag any direction you want. Just watch your head. Alright? Over your head. You swing between the legs, up and down. Alright? Forward, side to side. But the objective is you're trying to keep that core nice and steady. 10 seconds to go. You feel that now? Tensing out the core. Like a baseball bat. Bang, this side, bang. Okay. Good. All right. So there's our exercises. Okay, so push overhead. All right, that can be to one side if you like. Anything that's going overhead, grab overhead, pull down. Okay, push out in front. Okay, so our press ups. Okay, pull back. All right, then we've got our core ones that we did at the end. Okay, and then we've got our squat. Okay, down, and then we've got our hinge movement backwards and forwards. Okay, so they are our session. That's our session done. Okay, you can, if you want, you can throw in the old biceps in there as well, but don't forget when you were doing the rows and we were doing the pulls down, okay, it's also working those biceps as well. Okay, when you're doing the press ups, it's working the triceps. I know a lot of us men are concerned about our arms. Okay, so we like to get that in. All right, so if you do want to get some arms in, right, you can, using the school bag again, nice and straight, up and down with the arm. Okay, very simple exercise that anyone can do. All right, to work your triceps then, okay, same thing, bag overhead, keep the elbows where they are, and just drop back, point the elbows forward, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so they're just some arm exercises that you can do. Okay, and then calf, obviously, okay, just get up on the toes and down again. All right, so maybe add a little bit of weight, up on the toes, back down, up on the toes, back down, so that's not the way you can see, up on the toes, back down. All right, they're just ones that you can add in 3 extra at the end. So that's a full body session done in terms of strength. Now you'll notice you're not out of breath, but remember that's not the focus here. The focus here is our muscles. Okay, it's going to turn off this timer here. The focus is our muscles, all right, and our nervous system, all right, and that's what we're trying to train here. Okay, and then the next day go back and do your cardio one that you had, then maybe do a jog or a walk, and then the following day again go back to your strength training one and the whole body one. And if you do that then all the way through the Easter holidays, okay, that's, 3 days. So let's say you do your hard cardio, you do your jog, and then you do your strength. That's 3 days. Then take a break and then go back and repeat it. Okay, and if you do that for the 2-3 weeks, you're going to notice a massive difference in your fitness levels and in your strength. Okay, and then we can continue that on depending on how long this goes for till we get back into school. All right, before I finish up, really important to say, you will, if you've never done strength training before, you will feel a bit tired and sore. Okay, about 2 or 3 days later, your arms might be sore, your chest in particular gets sore, your core. Okay, you might notice your hamstrings and that are a little bit sore. That's perfectly normal. It doesn't mean you're injured. It's perfectly normal. It's just it's a thing called DOMS. Okay, and it usually just dissipates or goes away within a few days. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to stop exercising. It doesn't mean any of that. Okay, it's just a little bit uncomfortable for a while, and the more you do this, the more your body gets used to it, the less you experience it. All right, so don't worry about that. And it's not painful. It's not like, I can't move my arms. It's not like that. It's just, it's a bit sore. All right, so don't worry about it. It's perfectly normal. All right, so again, let's try that. Let's stay home. Let's stay safe. Let's help out. Let's pick a hobby. And let's try and stay as positive as we can, and we're all going to get through this. All right, and keep your distance from your mates and people not in your immediate family. All right, talk to you soon.